What is going on, you guys? Welcome to Envision Podcasting. This is super freaking exciting. We don't obviously have the Envision Podcasting logo. We're not in the studio, but we are in a kind of a cooler spot, the boxing gym of Carlos Gonzalez, bro. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
How you
Thank you
doing?
for having me. I'm doing good.
Good?
Yeah.
Chilling?
Yeah, I'm good. Just a little anxious for this fight.
Yeah.
Ready to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Eat both ways. Eat some food. Eat this opponent.
Right. I love that, bro. Yeah. So you've been fighting for only. We were just talking about that. You've only been in boxing for 2 years, and your professional record, you as a pro right now, you're 9-0. Okay.
Yes, sir, thank God.
So 9-0 in 2 years. That's an active guy. So you want to talk about you starting back in 2022 and how you've gotten to this point now?
Yeah, I mean, I started. There was a moment in my life where something happened, and I had started working. I got a job in February of 2022 because January something happened where my life was changed, and 2-3 weeks into it, I'm like, man, I gotta do something. I gotta figure something out. And my family has never been part of boxing. They never been fans of boxing. Like, they don't like boxing. You know what I mean? Now they do, but they didn't like boxing before. But a lot of people that weren't in my family, but they're close to me, except one guy in my family, who's my brother, he told me that, yo, you should be a boxer, yo. You good at everything you do, this, that, and third. And he always told me that. He's my brother-in-law, but I call him my brother.
Right.
And since he met me, I was like 11, 12 years old when I met him.
This is your sister's husband?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like 11, 12 years old when I met him, and I was 25 at the time.
Okay.
And I'm replaying this conversation in my head, and he's like, yo, you should box. You got the body for it. You mad athletic. Everything you do, you're somehow good.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? Before it's too late, I'm about to just try boxing. And then I think it was either early April or late March. I want to say early April of 2022 that I walked inside the gym, and I met a coach, and I asked him, can he train me? And I wanted to box, and that's it. And then, you know, that's how I started. And then I'm sparring, I'm doing my thing. Like, I sparred the very second day I ever boxed. I ever laced up gloves.
Really?
And not even laced up gloves.
Was that something you wanted to do, or was that something that you were kind of like encouraged to do? Like,
I was all for boxing, so I'm thinking that this is how you do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So like
I
second
didn't think
day.
of nothing. Yeah.
Right.
So the first day, I go and I meet him. I meet everybody not everybody, but a few of the people in the gym, and then he explains to me a little bit of what boxing is. And then the second day, when I go to train, and I spar.
Right.
I sparred him, but the guy is a beast.
Right.
So, you know, I did all right, you know, for a guy that never boxed before, you know, I did all right. But he called me with a liver shot, and I was like, that was like my welcoming to boxing. He called me with a liver shot, and I'm like, ooh.
It was like one of the worst shots, too.
Yeah,
like,
that's the
knocks
worst
the
shot.
wind completely out of you.
And I'm like, I just froze for a little bit. But then after that, I kept moving. And then we met my coach now. My other coach introduced me to him. And not really introduced me, but when they started working, then my new coach was seeing me and stuff. So he got me a fight, and he suggested that due to my age, we should just go pro.
Right.
So we just went pro, and my first fight, my first fight was in August, I want to say August 13th,
right,
2022, my first pro fight. And I was boxing since April, so like what?
So 4 months?
4 or 5 months? Yeah.
4 months, and you were like, fuck it, I'm just going to jump in and
that's it.
Start knocking dudes out, which is what you've been doing. 9-0, 8 of them knockouts, dude. And one of them was a no contest. That's crazy to me, like that you've been able to kind of get away with like being this like, well, I say young in the boxing game, but like you started when you were 25 instead
I'm a baby in the boxing game.
Well, that's a lot of people. Me and actually one of the guys over there were talking about that. Like how most boxers, they start when they're like 12, 13, 14.
Most of the guys here started when they was 8.
8. That's crazy.
7. Some people.
So how did you feel out of place when you were 25 doing it? Did you acknowledge that? Like, first and foremost?
Sometimes I still do, but that's like, that's nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's like kind of when you need gas and you're stopping by a neighborhood and you don't know of, and you're like, oh shit, I don't want to stop here, but you have to because you need gas.
Right.
So it's like something that you're gonna feel,
right,
no matter what, but it's not gonna stop you from doing what you gotta do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
do you remember your first pro boxing fight?
Yeah. Definitely.
How was it?
I took it more serious than I needed to be honest. Like,
really? Think so?
I took it more serious. Mind you, I'm new to this, so.
Like, what is more serious than you need to look like?
Like, I was just zoned out. I was like hitting myself before I walked out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that, which is not really good because you hit yourself hard enough, you can like weaken yourself. Then when you get in there and you get tapped or something, you go to sleep.
Right. So and you're just rehydrating too.
Yeah. Plus, I didn't know nothing about rehydrating. I still don't know nothing. I'm learning, but I fought at 126 that fight, and I hydrated till like 129.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't even drink enough water. You know what I'm saying? Like
so like how much do you have to usually rehydrate after like a cut like that?
It doesn't really. There's no like certain amount, but you just want to feel good about yourself. So, and 1 bottle of water is a pound.
Oh, okay.
16 ounces is a pound.
Right.
So, if you think about it, like 3 pounds when you're hydrated, like you're still dehydrated, But luckily, I used to be super low on weight anyways, So I didn't feel it or nothing like that. And plus, I was so amped up for the fight that I didn't even want to eat. I didn't want to do nothing. I was just.
The adrenaline was just.
I just wanted to go get in there and get it over with, see what it's like.
Right. Well, that's interesting that you said that because that's what I was asking about for your first fight, whether you were just eager to just get in there and just finally feel that moment of being in a boxing fight, like officially, not sparring, not even being in any sort of amateur boxing match, but this is like the first professional one. Yeah. So like a lot of people, when they get into the ring, they're like, okay, like, here we go. I feel like
to keep it frank with you, that's the first, because when you fight professional at my weight class any weight class up until 147, you fight from whatever to 147, you fight with 8-ounce gloves on. So those are pretty small gloves.
Okay, all right.
And then from 154 to whatever, I'm not sure because I'm not that.
You don't play around there.
Yeah, so that's 10 ounce. And if I'm not believing, even heavyweights wear 10 ounce or 12 ounce. But
yeah, I know.
They're all small gloves. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the first. When I went to the locker room before I went to go walk out the fight, that was the first time I ever put on little gloves on.
Really?
Yeah. Everything I used to do was with 16-ounce gloves on because I didn't know any better.
Right.
So when I see now, I'm like, what? Yo, this is crazy.
So did you feel like faster? In the
definitely.
Ring?
Yeah, way faster.
Well, that must be beneficial because it's like you're sparring with all these big gloves the whole time, and it feels a little bit heavier. And then when you get in there, you kind of feel like light,
like flowing
fast.
But then so is that guy. You know what I'm saying? So you could get like saying sparring, you get cracked with a good shot, and nothing happens to you. You're like, I could take that.
Right.
If that was a real fight and that dude had 8-ounce gloves, he cracked it with the same punch, you might be sleeping.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not about how tough you are or nothing like that. It's just there's vital points in a person's body where if you hit it, it just shuts down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the liver.
Right.
Like,
well, yeah.
That's a perfect example. The liver.
Right.
You could be the world's toughest guy. You get hit in the liver. It don't even have to be. It could just boom.
Right.
It could just be a little tap. But if it's right on the liver's 3 inches long, 3 inches big. If it's right on the liver.
Like that first shot you took, you're like, okay, all right, we're here.
Yeah. So imagine when someone's like really digging it in there, yo, you're not getting up from that.
There's
just a little tap and you freeze.
There's always that debate though. It's like, okay, well, how much of a chin does someone have? Is someone just born with that? But also, wouldn't you say that the weight cutting has a big effect on that as well? Like if you weight cut but you don't rehydrate properly, or if you're just weight cutting way too much, that your chin is just naturally like
weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you ever have that feeling for you? Because you cut a lot of weight. You say your walk around weight's like 150, 160. That's like 20 to 30 pounds that you cut.
Yeah, well that's when I'm undisciplined, you know what I mean? Like, but really I be low on weight. Like my ideal walk around weight, like when I'm just I don't call it training, but I hit the gym and I do that. I'll be like at 145.
Oh, okay.
But when I take a couple days off and then I'm just, I'm eating, eating crazy.
Well, dude, you spend so much of your time cutting weight, being in practice, being constantly like training and in camp. It's hard to not when you can have that off season, not to just want to eat everything in sight. I would imagine, right?
And I'm not a snack type of guy, so I eat.
Stop it.
I eat food.
He said when the meal comes, it's a meal.
Yeah, and then give me another one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
but you're gonna give me one cheeseburger, give me two.
But to answer your question, I'll be that heavy, right? But then once I actually start camp, where it's like, okay, I got 8 weeks left, I got 7 weeks left, whatever the case is, I'll be like at 145. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, I'm working.
Okay.
I'm working. So it's literally like 15 pounds that I'm cutting.
So it was just going into this camp that you were a little bit heavier?
A little heavy, yeah. Gotcha. Because I've been training for this fight for like over 10 weeks.
Really?
My last fight was December 9th. I took 3 days off, and I was noticing that. I'm like, yo, I'm getting big. So I'm like, nah. I just went back to the gym. And I've just been in the gym since. So I would say like probably in the beginning of January, I was already at 45.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Then I started, my diet was pasta. It was pasta and chicken.
Really?
Teriyaki chicken on pasta.
This was during the off season or
No, this was like during preparing. My camp. Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
During the off season,
during the off season.
I don't got a diet.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Are you dieting during your off season, just having way more of it?
Nah, that's what I should do though. I should keep my diet and just eat more of it.
Right.
Which I'm gonna gain a little bit, but I'm not gonna blow up.
Well, I feel like a lot of fighters do that. If they're moving up in weight, which is maybe something that you would consider if you were to get older. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And be in this game longer, because I feel like cutting down to 130 regularly, because you fight at 130.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I really fight at 126.
126.
But it's just hard for me to find fights at that weight.
Okay.
So it's literally been 135, 135, 135. But I'm too small for that weight class. You know what I mean?
Right.
Them guys, they're coming and killing themselves to make 135, and then the next day they're like at 155, 160. Yeah. So I'll make 135, and since I'm not even dehydrated, the next day I'm at like 145, 144. Right. So these guys got like 10 pounds on me, 15 pounds on me. Right. So I'm like, man, nah, I'm good.
Well, I think as you get older, if you thought about moving up in weight, that would be the time to do some sort of getting bigger, trying to bulk, trying to eat more of just that clean, healthy food. Yeah. But because, like I said, you're still so early in your boxing career, and you're still trying to put a name out there for yourself and everything. I feel like establishing yourself at a certain weight class right now, like 130, 126, 130, that's really good for you as well. One question I had for you, has there been anybody in the ring during the last 9 professional fights you've had that really kind of cracked you and you felt that?
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't mind sharing, who was it?
My 4th fight, his name is Trev.
Trev?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce his whole name, but his name was Trev. But I can tell you the story behind that fight. That fight was supposed to be at 130.
Okay.
And 2 weeks before the fight, they said he can't make 130. So we're like, all right, 35. He can't make 135. I was like 40. He can't make 140. And this was like a week before the fight.
Wait, so this was 130 he couldn't make, 135 he couldn't make, then 140 he couldn't make. What are you doing?
He wanted to fight at 143. So since I already sold tickets and my peoples were gonna drive all the way to Lowell, which is like 2 hours away, I'm like, I gotta fight. You know what I'm saying? So I got him. I fought him, and he weighed in at 143, at 142.9, but he was dying. Right. So you could tell this guy's big. Right. I weighed at 139.8, and I had a pudge on my stomach. Really? So I'm still a little. He's like, I'm in the middle of cutting. Yeah, he's dried out, and I'm hydrated. Right. I have a pudge on my stomach. I'm hydrated. I wasn't even hungry, thirsty, nothing. And I had to eat because I was already low to make the 130. Right. So I had to eat just to get to 139.
Really?
I was trying to get to 143.
Right.
So me and him could be the same. Then, if I eat anything else, whatever. He hydrated to 170 for that fight.
Right.
Because he was so dehydrated.
Oh, so he was 170?
Yeah, like 16. He told me like 165 to 170.
Wow.
And the first round, actually, that whole fight was just one round.
Okay.
So the first round, I'm in there, and since you could tell he was just
yoked.
He was just big. So
right.
I'm like, I went in and I go in and I just throw a crazy right hand, like hard.
Right.
Because even if I wanted to hit his gloves or his feet, whatever.
Right.
I just wanted him to feel it, like, yo, don't come in here, bro.
Right.
Let's make this a fight. Clean fight.
Well, I feel like you have to, especially with a guy who's 20 pounds heavier than you in the ring, having that first minute just kind of establish this as your ring. Yeah, that was probably important for you. You know what I mean? Like this dude, he's not gonna think just because I'm 20 pounds lighter than him that I'm not gonna try to scrap with him. No,
yeah, exactly. So that's what happened. I threw it, but he wasn't too close. He wasn't close enough, so it looked wild. Like I was really wild. I'm still pretty wild because I'm learning.
Right.
But as you can see from the first fight, I got videos of all my fights. From my first fight to my last fight,
right.
I'm a completely different fighter.
Right.
And then from my last fight to now, I'm a completely different fighter. I'm learning, growing every day. That's my goal.
Right.
So I threw it. I missed. So I'm just chilling. Then I'm tagging him up. Boom, boom, boom. I caught him to the body a few times. Then I came with a hook on top. And then at one point, I'm on the ropes. And I hear, like, he's throwing, I'm blocking. And I hear the ref say break, or she said something, but I probably didn't hear her, but I thought she said break. So me being I'm a novice, like I'm new to this.
Right.
So I just dropped my hands and I'm waiting for her to separate us and stuff.
Oh,
I dropped my hands and got hit me with a right, left. Oh. And the left hit me like right here.
Right.
So I kind of like buckled. I didn't fall, but I buckled.
Did the ref get involved at that point?
No.
Or? Wow, really?
Because I didn't fall. If I would have fell, she would have, count or whatever. But I buckled, I fell on the ropes, and then he came running at me, like, trying to kill me. So I dodged, and I'm just moving, I'm dazed. Like,
right.
I'm seeing, like, 3 of him.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
that must be so true. That must be so
but,
trippy. Like, you getting hit, and then you just, like, blurred vision,
I'm exaggerating.
Right?
I wasn't seeing 3 of him, but I'm dizzy.
Right.
I'm definitely, like, I never felt that.
Right.
So I'm moving back, and then he comes in. He's trying to kill me. So when I got to a point where I'll start off in this corner. When I got to this corner, and he threw, I like ducked under and hit him. Bang!
Oh,
and
really?
When I hit him, I ducked under again. And I kept moving, and then he slowed down. I was like, oh, he slowed down.
Oh,
that
shit!
Means I hurt him.
Right.
So then he came back running because he wasn't trying to make it seem like I hurt him. But he came back trying to throw all them punches. And I'm trying to block, but he's throwing so many punches where when I try to counter something, when I try to hit him in between the shot, he catches me again.
Oh, shit.
And like, he didn't, like, I wasn't hurt on that one.
Right.
But I wasn't really, I didn't really fully recover from the last punch.
Right.
So that like kind of like, bang, it restarted it. And I was like, all right. So now I moved to my corner. So my coaches is down here, and I'm just there. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just stay right here. So I stood right here. He's swinging. And once I felt, like, you can't really tell in the video, but I just felt his energy.
Right.
Like a little tired.
Right,
so once he did that, I pushed him. And when I pushed him off me, he was about to come forward again. Then I'm moving forward. I'm moving slowly. And then I just, out of nowhere, I just, like.
Found that right.
Boom. Yeah, I don't know how to, like, I sprung out type.
Right.
Bang, and I hit him with a right hand.
Right.
And then
do you think you kind of gave him the illusion that you were a little tired too?
Yeah, definitely.
Considering that you were standing there just waiting.
Definitely.
And he's like, oh, I'm tired, but I might be able to catch him if he just opens up his guard.
Yeah.
And then that's when he kind of slowed down, backed up, and you went to
I pushed him, and I walked up to him, like, slowly. Like, I barely walked. I was just like this. And then out of nowhere, I just bang. And I sprung out with that right hand. And I ducked under, but when I didn't even need a duck under. He was throwing. As soon as I hit him, you could see his eyes like go like this.
Right.
And he's backing up. So I just not ran after him, but I put the pressure on him.
Right.
And I hit him with I think it was a right left or left right.
Right.
And he fell. When he fell, he got back up. And then we started fighting again. he started trying to go crazy. So I'm like this, and I'm walking forward,
right,
blocking his shots. And then when I seen the open, it was like a soft shot, but to the chin.
right.
Right where he caught me, I caught him.
You were just talking about that too.
Yeah.
It's like those vital points. Yeah.
Right on the side of the chin.
I like that.
So as soon as I hit him, he fell to the floor, and he just stood there.
Right.
That was a fight.
And you already knew as soon as you hit it. When you hit him, you said it was a soft punch, so you actually probably didn't know that it was going to drop him completely.
Yeah,
were you a little surprised when he felt that?
Yeah, you could tell in the video. I'm like, you know what I mean? I was mad. I'm like, man, this guy just buckled me.
Right.
I want to put this nigga in the dirt. You know what I mean? But excuse my language.
No.
But yeah, like I want to put that guy in the dirt. I was tight. And then I got a video of that on my Instagram, and my coach is giving me, this guy. He's a philosopher and all that. So this guy just be talking.
Right.
He gave me a pep talk and stuff like, you're upset because you went through adversity, you still come out on top.
Right.
Either what, you want it easy all the time.
Right.
And I was like, I went from being mad to actually like, oh shit, I could actually gain something from this.
Right.
Because he told me, like, he knows what I'm going through, So he was like, you deal with stuff just like you deal with stuff in life, but you don't break.
Right.
It's okay. This is all part of, and long story short, it's all part of the growing process.
Well, the dude, and the fact that the dude was a lot bigger than you, got a couple shots, and you managed to, like, even, get out of that and survive that. I mean, even though he was cutting a lot of weight and it looked like he was going to die, like, maybe that had to do with his chin, or maybe that's why you had that soft punch and it did, land.
It probably wasn't a soft punch. My bad to cut you off.
No, you're good.
It was like, he just didn't expect it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Those punches, you show anybody, the biggest guy here, could come at me and throw it as hard as it can.
Right.
If I see it coming, it's not gonna hurt.
Because you can bite down on your mouthpiece
and
just kind of
just hold it.
Right. Okay.
But he could just bang, and I didn't expect it. I'm going down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So it was like it's all about the punch you don't see.
Exactly.
And that's what he didn't see that coming.
Exactly.
Well, and that's what I was thinking for you. It's like you go through all that adversity, right? You get hit. Do you feel like in the ring, like when you get hit, you're like, now I gotta fuck him up. Like, does that make you want to like go a little bit further or hit him a little harder? Do you feel that anger kind of come out? Because I feel like a lot of people, they lose fights specifically because when they get hit, they get upset.
Emotional and stuff.
Yeah.
Not Yeah. It was worse than now, but now I'm learning to control that because you can't fight off emotions. That's gonna mess you up. But I used to be like, I still, I'm getting better, but back then I was bad. Like, just even if I'm swinging punches, I'm not hitting you, I'm gonna get mad.
Right.
I'm trying to like throw harder.
Right.
Now I end up probably getting tired or something. Now I'm like, all right, you got that. I'm gonna get you.
Right.
You could beat me up the whole round.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, all right, I got you. I'm gonna get you the next round.
Right.
And then, it comes.
Is that where that novice kind of starts to become intermediate?
Yeah.
Like for you, like when you stop getting emotional in the ring, when it comes to getting hit, like you're not really, not like thinking aggression or seeing red all the time. You're thinking more technical. Like, all right, that was clean, that was good. Back up, kind of, you know what I mean? See what you can make work from there. Is that how you've developed?
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
And I'm still developing, but.
Well, you've given yourself a lot of fights, dude, to develop. Like 9 fights in 2 years is.
Yeah, because I'm going up against people who've been boxing their whole life. So, them boxing their whole life, they probably got 100+ amateur fights.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, to me, I always said it. I always tell my coach and all that. Like, when someone walks in, they be like, oh, yeah, I'm an amateur. I'm not pro yet. But the guy got 200 amateur fights. I'm like, my nigga, you been pro.
Right.
You been pro. After you hit, like, 30, 40, 50 amateur fights, you're a pro.
Right.
I don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying.
And they're like, hey, meet my friend Carlos. He didn't even do an amateur fight.
Yeah,
he started fighting immediately pro.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, they be like, oh, yeah, I made my pro debut. I just went pro last year. I'm 2-0. I'm only 2-0, and and whatever. You know what I'm saying? But they don't talk about the 400 amateur fights that they had prior to going pro.
Right.
Like perfect example is Lomachenko. Lomachenko had his first title fight, I think his second or third fight.
So, in general?
So his
pro
professional.
fight. Yeah.
So he's 2-0 or 1-1 or whatever the fuck. And he's about to fight for a belt early in that career. So that's something that he could hit himself on the chest with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it took me 2 fights to go for a world title.
Right.
But he fought 500 amateur fights.
Right.
So, bro, you've been a pro long before you debuted. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, seeing how people come from different like backgrounds like that, like some people don't start off as amateurs, some people do amateur fights, and then like you said, get that early title shot like 3-4 fights in. One thing I want to ask you about as far as other boxers go is like, who's your favorite boxer like currently now? Like, yeah, the person that you enjoy watching.
Well, that's hard to say because I enjoy I'm falling in love with boxing. I can say I love boxing.
Has that happened more since you started training?
Definitely.
Right. Okay.
Definitely. But my favorite boxer of today, I would have to say is Gervonta Davis.
Gervonta Davis, yeah.
I like him. You know
Davis is a monster.
He's a monster. Yeah.
He's a monster.
And he got that equalizer.
Yeah.
So that's who I enjoy to watch the most. The guy who I would like study the most though,
right,
would be like Terrence Crawford.
Terrence Crawford.
It would be like a Terrence Crawford.
Terrence Crawford's good.
Or
why Crawford specifically?
Because Crawford he's actually a really skillful boxer, and he could crack.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was gonna say Shakur, but it's like no disrespect to him or anybody, but he's more of a just boxer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He gets in trouble. There's no getting a guy off you if you ain't got no crack.
Right.
The reason I like Terrence Crawford so much is because he could box his ass off and he could put you to sleep anytime.
Right.
So I would consider myself like I would want to be like that because one, I'm like a lot of people just say that I only have power.
Right.
You know, so power is like God given. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you have lights out power.
Right.
It's God given. You can't work on that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you can work on being stronger and stuff like that, but that power, that punch power is God given. So if I add that boxing skills towards it like Terrence Crawford, I'll be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So
you already are 8 knockouts in 9 professional fights, dude. Like you have that, and I've seen you box too. I've watched a couple of your videos. You seem to also have a defensive like mindset. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
my coach preaches that.
Yeah. You are really, really good at backing up and not engaging for too long. I noticed that in 2 of your fights where you would engage, but you would throw like 3 or 4 punch combos, but you'd back up. You wouldn't go, even if you saw the kill, you kind of stepped back, which maybe wasn't something you did in your earlier fights, but your more recent fights, you looked more just technically aware and defensively sound, you know, which is a good thing. Do you notice yourself doing that more?
Yeah, that's actually the goal, you know. My coach is big on defense, you know. He says offense wins fights and defense wins championships.
That's good. So, I like that. Offense wins fights, defense wins championships.
Yeah, because you could punch all you want and stuff like that. It'll get you to a far level, but when you get to that far level, you won't get further if you don't have any defense.
Right.
You know, you gotta be able to stay control on the fire.
Right.
Be able to live there. You know what I'm saying? Everything is chaotic around you and you're just there, breathing, relaxing. You can crack a joke while a guy is firing on you.
Right.
And that'll make you dangerous, you know, because people don't like to swing and miss.
Right.
Or swing their hardest, and you catch it, and
then you're taunting them.
Yeah,
and then you're talking
people don't
shit.
like that, you know. So I definitely have seen myself get better technically, but you know, I'm not even scratching the surface yet. I'm getting better every day. I'm working every day. Even if I don't have a fight, I'm still here in the gym because I started late, you know. So, but my little year and some change, maybe 2 years of boxing would equal to a lot of people's 5, 6, 7 years, maybe 10 years.
Because you're here every day.
And the way I work, you know what I'm saying? The way I work is insane. Like the other day, I had to go back and forth with my coach. Like, yo, I want to do more. I want to do this. I want to do that. He's like, yo, go home.
Right.
Relax. Go home. Your fight is next week. Woo. I'm like, I ain't do nothing today. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What you mean? You just sparred 8 rounds. You hit the bag and hit mids. I'm like, at least let me do abs then.
Right.
Don't do nothing. Go home. I'm like, all right.
Well, your coach seems like he also looks at you or looks at it from a recovery standpoint as well. Do you kind of find yourself kind of thinking more about that towards the actual fight itself, like the fight date? Like, I don't want to, you know what I mean, get hit too hard in sparring or anything like that. I want my chin to be more granite when I walk, because especially when you're cutting weight too. Yeah. It's like, you know, pad work maybe, but like sparring, like when do you usually get rid of sparring as you approach a fight? Like,
it all depends. Like when I'm fighting heavy, I'll fight. I'll spar fight week.
Okay. You know what I mean? Really?
Like probably like 4 days, 5 days before the fight.
Okay.
But when I'm sparring light, when I'm fighting at my weight class, my normal weight class.
Right, like right now.
Yeah, maybe like 6 days out.
Right.
2 weeks out. 2 weeks would be like crazy, but no, I'm not doing anything 6 days prior to the fight.
Okay.
You know?
Is there like pad work and stuff like that, like drills?
Yeah, like light pad work, like I said earlier, like when you're cutting the water, you don't want to dig into the muscle.
Right.
You know, so you just do everything light just so you can crack a sweat.
Right.
And that's pretty much it. But I mean, I'm not an expert at it. That's why I'm grateful. I'm blessed. I got my coach.
Right.
And I got these guys that I was telling you about.
Well, you're an expert enough. You've gone through this 9 times so far. You know.
Died too, right here.
Really?
Yeah, right here. And this was for 135. I'm telling you, I didn't know how to cut weight.
So what did you do that, like, what do you mean you almost died? Like, what happened?
I didn't almost die, but like it felt like it, because I was catching cramps my whole body.
Oh, really?
But literally, like, I caught a cramp here.
Okay.
Right? My hamstring. Then I stretched my leg out and I caught a cramp here while this cramp is still here.
Right.
So then I try to stretch it out like this, and I caught a cramp going up my hip.
Really?
So then I take my shirt off and I tell my coach, like, yo, I'm cramping. And he was like, just relax. And I was like, yo, look, when I took my shirt off, I had like a wave on my chest.
What?
While my legs are still cramping. Like,
really?
You could see it, visually see it.
So you could see the cramp through this. That's so weird.
And then I caught, because I was trying to twist and turn, and I caught it on this side. Really? And I caught it on my neck, on my face, right here, like next to my throat. So they had to call the ambulance. I was there for like 2 hours. I probably lost like 15 pounds in those 2 hours because of the sweat and all everything was cramping.
Did you end up going to the hospital?
Yeah, the ambulance came and picked me up. I couldn't move.
Was this the day before the weigh-ins?
This was a week. This was literally like 5-6 days before my fight with Johnny Campbell.
My
first 6-round fight.
Okay, that was like 4 or 5 months ago, right?
Yeah,
in that ballpark.
I think it was
middle of 2023.
Yeah, I think it was August.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think so. I'm not sure.
A week away from
And
then, fight, and he's like, my boy's like, all right, hospital, let's go.
That was at 135. Then before that, it was at 135 too. But like I said, I ain't know. I knew less than what I know now, and I still don't know nothing. But I was getting ready to cut the weight for 135 for my fight with Richard Bernard, with that kid that the brawl happened.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that. Yeah.
So the rematch, I'm cutting the weight, and I'm not drinking as much water because I want to see a difference on the scale.
Right. So
I'm not drinking water. You know, I'm drinking water, but not enough.
Right.
And I'm trying to sweat. By the last day, I had this was the day of the weigh-in.
Right.
And I had like 4 pounds to lose.
Right.
And I go to the sauna. I hit the sauna. I go to the bath. I hit the bath. And I check my weight. I went down like 2 pounds. So then I'm at 136 now. I was like 3 or 4 pounds out. And I was at like 136. I had to be at 135.
Right.
So now I go back in the sauna. And usually, like 3-4 minutes into the sauna, I'm sweating.
Mm.
So I waited like 12 minutes, 13 minutes. And my manager was with me, and then my best friend was with me. So they're drenched.
Right.
They're drenched. Like, it was like 7 or 8 minutes in, and I looked up, and I see them drenched. So I waited 5 more minutes, and I look up. They are drenched, like pants, everything, shoes. So then I look at myself, and I'm like, sure, I'm not sweating.
Not at all?
Yeah, at all. I was like, I'm not sweating.
So you were cold skinned the whole time?
Yeah, and
really?
I felt like I was burning.
Really? Okay.
So I told my manager, I'm like, yo, I got to get out of here. He was like, nah, chill, relax. You're going to get it done. I was like, I started getting a panic attack.
Right.
I'm not sweating, yo. Like,
right.
I've been here damn near 15 minutes. There's not a drip of sweat on me. And this feels like it's burning me.
Right.
So I just leave. We leave the sauna room, and we end up leaving. I left the sauna. We ended up leaving. And I just told him, hey, listen, we got to pay a fine. We pay the fine, but I can't cut no more weight. Like,
right.
this is, and luckily, by the grace of God, bro, when I don't know how, because I left the gym.
Right.
And I went straight to the weigh-in. When I went to the gym, to the weigh-in, I get on the scale, I'm at 135.0.
Really?
And
Damn.
I still had a pound to lose. I don't know where that pound went. I didn't pee. I didn't fart. I didn't burp. I didn't spit. I couldn't even have to spit nothing.
Really?
So
when you're in that sauna situation too, is your brain like foggy? Like, are you like thinking in your head? Not like thinking, but like you kind of feel like you can't really come up with thought or talk that well because like you're so dried out from just all the weight cutting constantly. Like,
actually, I think.
Or do you think you're more mentally?
Yeah, I think for me personally, my mind flows. I think a lot, and I'm really aware, but I don't have the energy to talk.
Okay.
So I'm just there like this, and I would want. I'm aware of everything, and I could say something that like my mind works better that way. I don't know why, but I get creative and stuff. I just can't. I don't have the energy to talk about it or do it or let somebody know that I'm thinking about it. I just sit there.
Right. Well, because some people, all they think about is like food, I would imagine, right?
Yeah,
like,
all I think about is water. Like, let me get some water.
Right.
And then once you have water in your system, you're like, I bet, I want this, I want that, I want to eat this.
So are you on track for weight right now? So you're fighting at 1:30, right? Friday night. I'm sorry, Thursday morning you have to weigh in, right?
Thursday afternoon. It's at 4 p.m. for this one.
Okay. So you are fighting at 1:30. What's your current body weight right now?
Right now I'm like 135.
135. Oh, okay. So this is going to be one of the easier weight cuts.
Yeah, and I'm drinking water. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I ate 3 times yesterday. I'm doing phenomenal.
But this was all before you knew what to do as far as cutting weight and everything. Well, it's good that you surrounded yourself. Now, you surrounded yourself with a team for this camp, right?
Yeah.
For weight cutting. What was the team called again? They work with professional fighters. We were just talking.
It's called the I'm not sure what the team is called, but I know it's the Fight Dietitian on Instagram.
The Fight Dietitian?
Fight Dietitian. They helped me out.
Okay.
You know, they gave me they helped me out. They gave me a meal plan. I talk to them frequently, and I let them know what's going on. They let me know what to do, and everything has been 100% so far. So that's pretty much it. On Instagram they're called the Fight Dietitian. But there's different people. Like there's Jack Doherty, which is the one that's working with me. Okay. There's another guy named Jordan Sullivan. There's a bunch of other people. You know what I'm saying? But the whole thing is the Fight Dietitian.
Right.
TFD.
Right.
You know, so that's their brand or some whatever you want to call it.
I was gonna say last question as far as the weight cutting goes. What is like the go-to meal for after the weight cut's over, after you've made weight and everything?
Anything carb.
Anything. He's anything carb. Do you try to stay away from like unhealthy like kind of carbs, or do you like if you pass the Taco Bell on the way back, like or something like that, do you try to stay away from that kind of stuff? I stay away from that because I'm my stomach is so small right now. So if I go and I eat a little bit of Taco Bell, when I get to the actual meal that I'm gonna have, I won't want to eat it. Right. Okay. I'm already kind of full. Good. Yeah. Right. Now during camp, you don't drink, right? Alcohol, or do you drink? No. Okay. So you stay away from alcohol during camp. You stay away from weed generally during camp. I don't do any of that stuff. Gotcha. Even outside of camp, you know, I'll probably on New Year's or something. My family's crazy. Right. Big. So my mom would probably give a toast or something, and then everybody in the house older than 18 would have to take a shot. Right. Or not a shot, it's like a champagne or something like that. I don't know. It would probably be like a shot or like a glass of champagne, glass of wine, something like that. That's my alcohol. That's I see what you're saying. Because it was funny, because I was talking to one of the guys over there about that too. It's like, well, definitely if you're doing this and professionally, you probably shouldn't be drinking or smoking. But I remember I got quite, because I don't do anything professional, like in the sense of like, you know, fighting or anything. So I don't have to worry about that. Although it would keep me out of like drinking so much, which is something I got hooked to quite a bit, drinking and weed. Like Alcohol, okay. I said a couple months ago that I didn't have an issue with it, but when I recently lost my job, I had an issue with it for like a week, and I drank quite a bit every night, and just kind of hung out with people, and I had a lot of fun, but at the same time too, by the end of the week, I'm kind of like, what am I doing? Just smoking, drinking, and then the morning after would be terrible.
Sucks.
Oh my God, dude!
I see my family go through it all the time.
You're trudging through, dude. Like you trying to get everything done in the morning. All you want to do is just go back in your bed and lay down, and do nothing. So I try to stay away from it. So I've been staying away from it more recently, like not doing it as much, and I feel so much better mentally. And I always comes back to that is like I feel so much better without it. So like, why do I keep on going back to it? It's a battle of mine, but that's why I was curious for you. Is like, do you ever have that? But the fact that you stay away from it in general, great thing for you, especially if you're getting in the ring.
Yeah. Before I started boxing, I was big on I was doing stuff that I don't do now, but
right.
I don't know why, but ever since, even before I started boxing, probably like a year before I started boxing, I just stopped everything. You know what I mean? All the stuff that I was doing. Because of the stuff that I was doing before boxing, I had to be focused.
Right.
So I stopped drinking. I stopped doing any. Even though I was never big on any of that.
Right.
But I would do it, occasionally and stuff like that.
Right.
But now, like I said, it's just a little champagne glass on New Year's. That's the most alcohol I will have. You know what I'm saying?
What about caffeine? You a big caffeine head? Really?
Nah.
I'm a big caffeine guy. Yeah. That's something that I can't go without, just because like I feel like mentally just keeps me engaged in conversation regularly, which is like for my job, that's basically all I do is talk to people. So like I feel like I have to be engaged. But like something like this too, you would feel like
during camp I have to have black coffee every morning.
Okay, that's what I was.
Sometimes I don't take it.
Oh really?
I'm not a big caffeine guy, but I do when I use it, it helps out because one, I'm not as hungry, and two, I got so much energy. You know what I'm saying? So towards the end of camp, I try to stay away from it because I'm already like my body's peaking, so I want to keep going. But if I have some caffeine in my system, I'm gonna keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's not good because, like you said earlier, I need to recover.
Right.
Stuff like that. So
well, that takes you from the novice thing too. It's like when you said you are still younger in your boxing career, you are getting better regularly, and I think recovery does come along with that.
Yeah.
The fact
that's vital, man.
Getting good quality sleep, as difficult as that probably is on a week like this, like where you're weight cutting. Like, is it hard to sleep when you cut weight?
It depends how hard is the weight cut, but yesterday I slept like a baby.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday was the first day that I started the cutting, So I slept like a baby. I ain't gonna lie.
Right.
But I think it's because I followed everything this camp to a T.
Right.
So I don't think I think, knock on wood, cross my fingers, this camp's gonna be real. Like this weight cut is gonna be pretty smooth, pretty easy.
Right. Well, we've spent a lot of time talking about the weight cut. Let's talk about the actual fight itself.
Yeah.
So this is a big fight for you for two specific reasons. Number one, if you win this fight,
yes,
it'll be double digits and 0, right? 10 and 0. All right, that's the first thing. And second thing, there's a title on the line in this fight, correct?
Yes, sir.
What is the title? Is it flyweight or is it
featherweight?
Featherweight.
Super featherweight. Super featherweight, 130, junior lightweight title.
Okay. Is that something that you had been wanting to fight for? Or did that just kind of come up?
That just came about,
Okay.
I just focused on the fight, and actually it was like last week, like last week, 2 weeks ago, where they let me know it was gonna be for a belt.
Right.
And that just put the icing on the cake, because like I told you earlier, I go hard.
Right.
So my mind is just like, I still take it super serious.
Right.
No matter what.
Right.
So, I don't need anything to be on the line for me to like be serious. I'm already taking it serious as I can.
But that just added more fuel to the fire.
Exactly.
Good.
It just gave me more motivation.
What would it mean for you to actually have that championship, to win that belt? on Friday night?
Like boxing wise, or to me personally?
To you personally.
It would mean a lot, you know. Like it hasn't even been 2 years yet, and I would win a state title already. I'll main event my first show.
Fuck yeah.
You know, so it's gonna mean a lot. It's gonna be a day to remember, and plus it's literally the day before I turn 27.
Oh really?
My birthday's the 24th.
Oh, so your birthday's on Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
dude, that would
I turned 27 on February 24th. So I'm a forever remember that. You know what I'm saying? I've been working too hard to let this guy, you know what I mean?
Right.
Try to do something with that.
Absolutely.
Going down.
Well, your confidence is at the highest level, right? When you did put in all that work.
Yes, sir.
You've done the 10 weeks of training camp. You've done everything you needed to do. You followed everything to a T. You're like, you've kind of set aside in your mind, and it's a good thing. It's like, there's no way I can lose.
Yes,
you know what I mean? I'm coming there to take out this guy and win that championship and bring it home.
It's like a little baby, you know. It might be a little corny, but when he says, I don't see nobody but me, who I'm gonna lose to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he said that in the song, and I felt that. I'm like, word.
Right.
Like this, I only see me when I come in here and I train and stuff like that. So who I'm gonna lose to?
Right.
Me. Like if anything, I'll be the one I'll be myself. But it ain't gonna happen this upcoming Friday.
Under pressure, like the circumstances that you're under right now, like going into this fight, may seem like high pressure circumstances, but I feel like also a guy like you, that's where you thrive. Yes, you know what I mean? That's where you do your best work. Is like, all right, throw the pressure on. You know what I mean? Yes, bet against me, because I'm gonna come out swinging even harder than you ever thought. Yes, that's awesome, dude. I love that mentality.
Appreciate that.
And something. Let me ask you a question. Are you big into like God? Like,
I wouldn't say big, but I believe in God. You know, I thank God, and I know I'm blessed.
Right.
But I've been around people who are big in God, about God. So that's why I would say I'm not big in God, because I'm not like them. Like they
going to church every Sunday.
Yeah. Like not only that, but they're like really, really huge. And I believe in my God like a lot different than a lot of people. So I try not to get into that stuff, because you know religion is a delicate category.
Right.
But I definitely believe in God. Oh come on, man! Like the stuff I've been through in my life, I know there's a God up there, and I know that I'm blessed, and that's why I try to be humble.
Right.
And I try to reciprocate that to the world.
Right.
You know, from what He blesses me with, I try to do my job with the world.
The only reason why I asked that for you is because Floyd. Well, two things. Floyd Mayweather had a quote. Obviously one of the greatest boxers of all time. He had a quote where he said, he's like, "No one's gonna beat me. I have God on my side," and I love that quote because fire. and within recent circumstances, the last maybe like 6 months or so, I've started to, because not that I never believed in him, but I will say I never really cared about God or religion or any of that. I always just kind of thought it was a stupid way for people to make an excuse for not doing something. And that was me. That was like how beyond immature I was. Recently, I have found God more and have been just kind of pushing myself more because of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Thinking in my head like, he's bringing me to do this. You know what I mean? He's putting this in my life. Why? Like how can I overcome this? And it kind of makes the battle between me and me more of a battle between me and me, not so much trying to compete with other people. Because for you, it might be like, oh well, there could be nobody or it could be anybody in the ring. You don't even have to know who it is. You believe in your skill set so much, and you understand that you got God on your side so much that at the end of the day, you know what I mean, you go right through them. Yeah. So it's like, that's why I was asking you is if that actually comes into boxing with you.
Yeah, it does. No, definitely. Because especially, and it has nothing to do with the trainer and none of that. It's just the way I treat people. The person I think and I believe that I am. I think God is always gonna have me. I believe in, like, that stuff that I was telling you that I'm going through.
Right.
The legal issue.
Right.
I was talking to my best friend. I'm like, you know what, bro? Whatever happens, God's gonna want it to happen, and I'm good with it. You know why? Because no matter what dirt or floor I step on in this world, I'm gonna be good.
Right.
Because God knows me. God knows my heart. I don't got no malicious in my heart. I don't got no hate in my blood. Everything for me is pure and genuine. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean that you could just push me over.
Right.
People could think that they taking advantage of me and stuff like that. I'll let you rock me to sleep.
Right.
But I look at it like it's not my job to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? I let God deal with that, and I just go about my way. I keep living my positive life and keep trying to be that good human being that I aspire to be.
Right.
And I feel like since I think of myself like that, and I feel like I am like that, God's always gonna have me, no matter what I'm doing, no matter what I do in life, no matter where I go, what I go through. He's always gonna be right there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm big on that. You know what I mean? But religion is a very touchy subject. So
well, no, I love that. I'll respect you for that. You know, the fact that you first off, you know, not that we have to get any deeper into it, but what you are dealing with outside of this and being able to focus on boxing, I mean, that shows real commitment to boxing, because a lot of people who are dealing with what you're dealing with would only focus on that or solely focus on that. But you have this as your muse. You have a son or a daughter? Son, you take care of. How old is your son, if you don't mind?
He's 3.
3? 3 years old. So he's starting to get to the. One of my buddies, he was telling me he has a 4-year-old son. He was saying, he was like, yeah, I bought him clothes, and he came up to me and he was like, Dad, how could you? And I was like, well, don't worry. In 10 years, you're gonna be begging me to do nothing but buy you clothing. You know what I mean? So do you ever like have that envisionment, like of like, well, envision ironically, but envision like seeing yourself in like a nice house with your kid running around, knowing where you and your kid came from, and
yes, sir.
Those kind of thoughts
meditate.
keep you.
I try to meditate every day for 10 minutes, and that's all I think about. I try to see myself in the place where I would want to be, and that's where I see myself in a nice, comfortable home with my wife and my son. You know, have my family come over. We celebrate whatever, celebrate life, and him having his own little room. Not little room, but big room. His own playroom.
Yes, sir.
Him having any toy he want.
Right.
Or I could just see him being 10, 11 years old, boxing, playing baseball. Playing sports. You know, being respectful to his elders.
Right.
I see all that. You know, when I meditate every morning, that's all I see. Just I try to envision myself of where I want to be in life.
Right.
And I try to see it. That way, when you see something, you believe it. You know, so. That's the first step of anything. You gotta believe in it, and then you go do it. So,
in those moments of like, whenever you're down, kind of maybe even in the gym when you don't want to get something done, is that what you think of as well as like your family, your son?
Yes, sir.
Immediately.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
I either think of that, or I think of my situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's either the gym or.
That.
So I'm like, man.
But it motivates you, bleed it in. You know what I mean? It's not something that depresses you. And you're like, all right, I'm gonna stay in for the morning. You're like, no, fuck it. Now I've got to get out there.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And that's another thing too. It's like our days are numbered. You know.
Yes, sir.
So to live every day like it's your last. That's why I was telling you, like the alcohol and weed thing, such a fucking waste of time when you really think about it, because that's all you're doing is killing time or numbing your mind. You're doing one of the two.
And you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
You know, little by little.
Yeah.
You know?
All the alcohol, like a lot of people could be drinking like fucking all day, or they'll go through like a vodka bottle like in 2 days. It's crazy.
Man, wow. Nuts.
Dude, that liver shot gonna hit.
Woo.
Yeah.
The liver shot went from 3 inches to 1.5.
Telling you, bro. Dude, I'm very excited for your fight this weekend. I think that you're gonna do very well. One of the last questions I guess I'll ask you, what does boxing mean to you right now? Like, is it like everything, or is it something that like you feel like you might fall off with, or is this like you're in it for?
Yeah, I'm in it to where it doesn't make sense for me not to be in it anymore. But what it means to me is change. You know what I mean? It means change to me. If it wasn't for boxing, I'll probably be dead or in jail, you know what I mean? So it means change for me. It means growth, and it made me a better man. It's making me a better man, better father, better son, better friend, better person overall, you know?
Right.
So that's what it means to me, growth and change.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. And where are you fighting on Friday night? You wanna?
I'm fighting at American International College in Springfield, Mass.
American International College, Springfield, Massachusetts. Tickets are still available too, right?
Yeah, I got a few. So yeah, you could hit me up on a DM. I only have Instagram. It's El Gallo Gonzalez 007.
His Instagram will be in the bio. And we have 6 or 5 days until this fight happens. I'm very sorry that I had to bother him during his freaking cutting weight week. You know what I mean? I couldn't have
to makes it easier.
Dude, yeah, because it's like now you can kind of look back on this and be like, damn, like, you know, like when we look back on this, like let's just say we look back on this on like Saturday or Sunday after you've won, after you have everything. It's like, well, he said it. He said it on the podcast. He knew what was going to happen. And I do have a lot of respect for people who are just able to even step in the ring, nonetheless go 9-0 in like 2 years, you know? And you're coming for that 10 on Friday night.
I'm coming hard too, man.
Yes, sir. So I'm happy to have you on. I really appreciate you for being on. And I want to do an episode with you next time where you're fully hydrated. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I also want to see like what it's like to have like an off-season Carlos. Like, is he wild? Is he gonna say crazy shit?
Yeah, like, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Yeah. That'll be fun. Yeah. Whenever you're ready, man. After this fight, I got another fight March 23rd. So.
Oh my God, dude, are you serious?
Yeah. So
this is insane.
I'll be fully hydrated for that first week. After that, I'll be fully hydrated until fight week.
Right.
Every camp, but
your activity, dude, is like insane.
Yeah, I gotta learn. You know what I mean? It's the best way to learn
is to get in there and actually
get it. Yeah.
I heard this is actually your first 8-round fight too.
Yeah.
Okay.
First 8-rounder. Yeah.
You were I forgot what show you were on, but I saw a clip where you were basically being interviewed by these 2 other gentlemen, and they said to you, they're like, you know, your fight's an 8-rounder, and you literally said on camera, you're like, who told you that? Like, you like had no idea.
Yeah, I had no idea.
And then he was like, and this is how fucking game this guy is, because he doesn't care. Literally, they told Carlos, yeah, your fight's an 8-rounder, and he's like, fuck it. Like he's like, it is what it is. It's like,
I'm ready for a 10-rounder, man.
Word.
Whatever they want to do.
Dude, that's awesome.
Or we could go into somebody drop. Right. You know what I mean?
Like gladiator style,
yes,
bro?
Sir. Dude. I just know that I'm going to come out victorious.
Dude.
So I appreciate 100%. You for having me, bro. Thank you.
I got you, bro. Appreciate always, yes. February 23rd, Friday night. You say it again, the arena, because I forgot it.
It's going to be at American International College, better known as AIC in Springfield, Mass.
AIC, Springfield, Massachusetts. The arena opens up at 6, and then the fights start at 7 o'clock. I'm going to be there. It's going to be a great time. We're going to watch this man win, take home that double digit 10-0, get that championship, and you know, enjoy some food after. You know.
Yes, sir.
But
yes, sir.
Very happy. I appreciate you for being on, man, and thank you as always.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me.
Appreciate you, buddy.